Hello again. This is Walter, the English Conversation Doctor, coming to you again from Tokyo, Japan. And today we'll be talking about improving your writing skills or how to improve your writing skills. Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, I thought the focus of this course was to teach me how to speak in English. So why do I need to worry about writing? Isn't that going to be like another section or another book? Not necessarily. Now, for my 3-month English conversation students, or for any student who have taken my course, they will tell you from experience that they do a lot of writing in my classes. The reason why I have students write so much in class is because writing is one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary and grammar usage, right? When you start writing, it will help you improve your grammar structure. The reason for this is that, well, a lot of students are very good at speaking English and are actually able to communicate in English, but they still have problems because their grammar structure is incorrect. Now, this especially affects students who can communicate pretty fluently. Now, this person may be able to communicate and they can talk all day long, but they still make minor mistakes when they're speaking. The problem is they cannot fix these mistakes by themselves. The reason why they can't fix these mistakes is because they have been making the same mistake over and over and over again for the past 15 or 20 years. And so when they're speaking, their brain does not catch this mistake. And so they never fix the same problem that they've been having for such a long time. And I know a lot of female students who speak very good English and who can communicate and can travel abroad with no problems, but their grammar is still a little bit off, or they still tend to have problems using like past tense or whatnot. It's not that people don't understand them. So, how do I help people fix the problems with speaking that they've had for such a long time? Because they're basically repeating the same habits. Well, the way I do this is by having them write. See, when you speak, you cannot see your words. You can't see the words that are coming out of your mouth. So, because of that, you may not notice when you're making a mistake. And this is where writing comes into play. So, when you're writing, exactly like when you were in school, when you were in high school and you had to write something, your teacher used to carry a red pen, right? So the purpose of that red pen was to correct your writing and to show you where you were making a mistake. Well, in my class, I tend to do the same thing. So I will have students write a lot, and then we will check their writing. And whenever they make a mistake for grammar or for vocabulary, I'll just mark it on their paper. And the purpose of the red pen is so that when they are not looking at their paper, their brain will remember that red mark when they're speaking. So they'll start to say something, they'll start to make the same mistake, and then they'll remember, oh, I wrote this and there was a red mark, and the correct version is this, right? But without someone to check and without that red mark on the paper, their brain is going to skip that mistake, and they're just going to keep on repeating the same mistake over and over and over again with no way of fixing it. So that's why we do a lot of writing in my classes. So the way that I have my students start writing and improving their writing skills, because if you can improve your writing skills, then you can also improve your speaking skills. Because the way you think is the way that you write. And the way that you write is normally the way that you speak. So this lets you see your natural mistakes on paper, right? In this way, it's easier for you to fix them. So the way that I let my students practice their writing is for my private students, I make every single one of them keep a diary, a weekly diary. So every day or every time they come to class, I'm like, okay, show me your diary. And their diary doesn't have to be very long, like only 2 or 3 sentences, per day, it's fine. And for the first part of class, we check their diary, and I correct their spelling and their grammar. And then I make them repeat. I make them read the whole thing so that they can see where they're making mistakes. So keeping a diary is one way that I do it. But in order to improve your writing skills, one of the main things is you have to have somebody who will check your writing. And this is the problem that a lot of students have because they don't really have they don't really have a native English speaker to check their writing. So they might write, but they're still making the same mistakes, but they have nobody to say, hey, this is a mistake. So they'll keep on writing and they'll keep on making the same mistake. So in order for your writing practice to be effective, you need to have somebody who can check. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need a native English speaker. You just need somebody who can read what you're writing to where you're a little bit more conscious of it. And a native English speaker or fluent speaker is better. But I'll give you some other ways to do this as well. So my students start off with keeping a diary. I also make them do a lot of book reports because reading books is also a required part of my class. So, like when my students read a new book, which is every month, then I make them write a book report about that. And then it's the same process as their diary. I'll check their writing or check their diary. Check their book report, and also correct that. And then I make them present using the correct forms of verbs and the correct vocabulary. So, keeping a diary, writing book reports, but for those of you who don't have the time or money to attend English classes to do all this, there are some free ways of practicing your writing skills that are very effective. So one way is to keep a blog, right? A lot of my students who are a little bit more creative or a little bit more business or a little bit more entrepreneurial or business minded, I recommend that they start their own blog about products that they like. For example, I have one student who loves scuba diving. So, well, actually, I have a few students who love scuba diving. So I tell them, okay, well, why don't you keep a blog, and every time you travel abroad or every time you go scuba diving, take pictures and then like update your blog, and make sure that you have some native English speaking friends like who are connected to your blog, or send it to me. And if I see a problem, then I'll tell you what to do to correct your English. So that's one way, keeping a blog. A blog is pretty good because your blog is online and is meant for other people to view. So mentally, you're a little bit more conscious about your writing, and you pay a little bit more attention to how you write and your grammar and your vocabulary usage. So this helps you start checking yourself, right? Which is a good skill, especially if you do a lot of business emails, right? So a blog is a very good way. Also, even social networking sites like Facebook. You can go to Facebook and join groups and try to get native English speaking friends. And then you can like practice chatting with them. Chatting is a very good way to improve your English skills, especially your written English skills, because not only it's not just one way. So you're actually getting feedback from people, and like when you get free feedback from people, they'll tell you the correct way of like doing things. So that's they'll give you the correct spelling and the correct grammar as well. And if you make a big mistake, well, somebody's going to tell you, so it's not such a big deal. But that's another very good way to practice improving your writing skills. The next one, and my papers are trying to fly everywhere. Another way to improve your writing is to free write, write stories. Now I use this one with a lot of my female students who like to write. I will give them an assignment, or I'll let them write stories, or I'll let them do movie reviews. Movie reviews are pretty fun. So I might give them a homework assignment. Okay, your homework assignment is to watch this movie. Then I want you to write a report about this movie. I want you to give me a summary. I want you to give me your opinion. And then I want you to rewrite the movie. So give the movie a different ending, or maybe add a new character and tell me what this character will be doing. So try to change the story. So a lot of students have a lot of fun with that one. So they'll like maybe watch a movie, or maybe they'll write their own original story, and then they'll give it to me, and I'll check it. And I found out that a lot of people have a lot of creative talent. So some of the stories are actually very good. But this gets them into the habit of like writing and checking their vocabulary and their grammar. And like another thing that I teach students to use is I teach them to use a thesaurus, right? And what a thesaurus is, for those of you who don't know, it's almost like a dictionary, but it teaches you how to use synonyms and antonyms. So a lot of students, when they're writing or when they're speaking, they tend to use the same vocabulary words over and over and over and over again, which is okay because it keeps the conversation simple. But especially if it's in written format, it can be a little bit boring, right? So somebody might be reading what you've written or reading your email and again, 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 and they're going to go to sleep. So what a thesaurus does is you can take a word and you can put it into thesaurus.com, and it will give you synonyms and antonyms for this word. So that what that does is that teaches students how to switch words in order to keep their conversations and whatever they're writing more interesting. So instead of saying, "Oh, the guy was fat, and he was fat, and I looked at his fat wallet," you could also say, "Well, the guy was plump, and his wallet was huge, and like I think his wife was a little bit chubby," or whatever. Instead of using the same word "fat, fat, fat" all over again, right? So you can using these tools and using these techniques will help you improve your writing skills, which will actually carry over to your speaking skills. Because the more your eyes see correct grammar, and the more you experiment with getting new vocabulary and using them in your writing, this will improve your brain will remember this. And so when you start speaking, you're naturally going to start using these new words, and this will also help you improve your written grammar structure. So the better your written grammar structure becomes, then naturally the more your speaking grammar structure becomes as well, because everything is connected. So that's why writing is a very important part of my class. And the best way to improve your writing skill is to just find something fun that find something that you're interested in that's fun to write about, and start writing. Like I said, Facebook, chatting, blogs, even pen pals are okay. I don't really recommend pen pals so much because a pen pal is kind of on and off some of the time. But I think in place of a pen pal, you could probably just jump on Facebook and start finding people who are and join groups that you're interested in. So if you're a musician, go to Facebook and join a music group. If you're into skydiving or scuba diving or mountain climbing, join one of those groups and just start chatting with people. And the more you chat, the more you write, the more you read what other people are writing, then the more your speaking will naturally start to improve naturally, right? So these are some ways that you can improve your improve your writing skills. And like I said, doing it online, the main factor is that you do need to have somebody who's going to check and who's going to be reading what you've written. Otherwise, if you write a diary and you just throw it on your desk, there's pretty much no point because you don't have anybody to check what you're writing anyway. So you need to get feedback from somebody. And another important point is your writing should be free and not really so structured. That's one of the problems that students have when they attend English language schools. Their teacher might give them an assignment, but the assignment is normally out of a textbook, or they're only looking for certain points of information. So the writing is too structured and it's too short. So they're not using free thinking, right? And so they're only using they're using a limited vocabulary, a limited range of vocabulary. But what you need to do is you need to kind of try to expand your writing to include all of the new vocabulary and everything that you've experienced throughout your day and throughout your life, even in business. Even business emails are very limited because you're only talking about, well, business-related topics. So if you've been working in that job for an extended amount of time, like maybe even 3 years, you know the topic fairly well. So even if your grammar or your vocabulary isn't really so strong, you can still communicate about that. And so you're not really expanding your vocabulary base or gaining any new skills by writing these emails. So what you need to do is you need to step outside of your comfort zone and start looking for new material, new things that you're interested in to start writing about. And this will help you improve your vocabulary, improve your grammar, improve your listening skills as well. Because the more you write and the more new words you start to use, your eyes can identify it. Then, once your eyes can identify it, it will they'll put this new word into your brain, so that when you hear this new word, the word and the text will naturally snap together that you've heard. Like, oh, wait a minute, I know this word because I wrote it or I read it somewhere, right? So this will help improve your listening skills by increasing your mental dictionary, right? Okay, this word I've seen it before. It's okay. Your brain won't block it, right? So, like I said, all of these are connected, but writing is one of the best ways to help you really start to become a fluent English speaker. This writing will help you fix your broken English problems as long as you have somebody to check your writing and to give you feedback on it, right? So those are very simple tips to help you improve your writing skills. And when you go to the iBook, when you download my iBook, I'll have a lot of examples of I'll put some examples of how to improve your writing skills and some little exercises for you to practice with. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next section.